This is my tutorial on how to covertly monitor encrypted Wi-Fi networks. As a reminder, this is for educational purposes only. Doing this on a network that you do not own or have permission to access is a criminal act and you may be in violation of federal laws. Please use at your own risk. So the first program we're going to use is Mac Makeup to hide our MAC address. Just in case we do get on anyone's network logs when we're attempting to monitor them, we don't want it traceable back to us. I like to begin with a before and after and by checking our MAC address. So we're going to run command line here. Type in ipconfig \all and you'll see the current MAC address is 4A86 blah blah blah. I'm going to minimize that and pull up Mac Makeup, which is actually a pretty easy to use program, and you can actually use it to get free internet at hotels and some other things, but we'll talk about that another time. You want to change it to your current Wi-Fi card. There's our current MAC address. We're going to do a completely random MAC address, so 6269. After pressing change, it's going to reboot the card. And then we're going to want to confirm that by minimizing this and going back to the command line and checking what our MAC address is. So there's the old MAC address. Type in ipconfig \all again. And here it comes up. It is now 6269, like we changed. So we're going to minimize that. Next, what we're going to do is pull up Nettumbler. What I'm trying to do is use a combination of different programs. A lot of them, like Nettumbler and Cain, can do some of the same things, but I want to get you familiar with all the different options out there. So we're going to load this, and I'm going to drive down the street to the target, which is my own network that I use for training and practicing. Can you see me? So you can see it start off with two networks. I fast forward it so it kind of skips ahead here, and you're going to see a bunch of networks pop up shortly. Neighborhood's full of some interesting titles here. But there's our target. We're going to want to make note that it is on channel 2. You're going to want to remember that. And we're good to go. Now we can close out this program and get to cracking. No need to save it. Next, we're going to use Cain Enable, another great program. Again, it has a lot of possibilities. We're only going to use a few of them in this video for cracking the Wi-Fi, and we may come back to it at the end of the video for some quick references too. But we're going to go to wireless. And blow that up. This could be used just like Nettumbler. If you select your Wi-Fi card and do active scan, you're going to see all the local networks. But in this case, we're actually going to access our AirDecap card, which you're going to have to purchase for approximately $295. We're going to select that channel 2 again, which is what the network we're trying to do. We're going to do some APR requests, WP injections, and press start. You can see these packets are going, and what we're trying to do is collect enough packets, approximately 300,000 or so that we can crack the password. So you can also see someone is actually surfing the internet right now as we talk, which is a good sign. We help speed up the packet capture, as well as we can capture some data to look at. So I sped it up. You can see we're now at 300,000 packets. It took about 15 minutes or so. I'm going to stop it, and we're going to use Cain to analyze these packets and crack it and get the password. So again, there's our network that we got the packets. We're going to select this attack, For sake of the video, I did 64-bit just to speed it up, but it can do also 128-bit, just may take a little longer. And voila, it found it. The password for the network is crack, and there's the hex code, which you might want to just copy right now so we can use it later. Now we're going to close out Cain, and before we continue, we want to make sure that we're encrypting everything we do, but not only encrypting it, but also using hidden volumes. So go to TrueCrypt, get that started, follow the instructions, and make sure you set up a hidden volume. This will prevent anyone from truly accessing the information that we're about to capture. It's one thing to encrypt it, but a lot of third parties can force you to give up your password. Using that hidden volume, they don't even know it's there, and we can keep everything secure. After that's all said and done, we'll be using Wireshark to actually capture the data, but again, I have to state that you need an AirDecap card to capture the Wi-Fi data. It is going to run you about $295, but it is worth every penny. So start up Wireshark here. Alright, we're going to want to go up to Capture, Options. We're going to want to make sure it's on the AirDecap card, which it is. Wireless settings. Again, we want to make sure that it's on channel 2, and it looks like it already is. And we want to make sure to deselect include 802 frames. We're going to need that later. Now we're going to type in a name that looks like we're doing it on our own home network. We don't want anyone to think that we're looking at other people's networks. We're going to use multiple files here. Let's leave it at megabytes, and probably about 100 megabytes so it doesn't overwhelm a computer. And we'll just do 2 files, but you can pretty much have this unlimited. Now we're going to browse and make sure that we save it on that hidden volume. This is my mounted H drive here. Make sure it's still named home test. Now, as soon as we press start, it's going to start capturing encrypted data. Now, it's going to look like a lot of garbage because, again, it is encrypted, but the AirDecap card is literally like a police or a FM radio. We're receiving anything that flows between the target's computer or computers and the router and back and forth. So literally we're just listening. There's no communication between our computer and theirs. We're just listening to the airwaves. Now obviously you're going to want to do this for as long as it takes to get the information you need. Maybe let it run for a couple hours, maybe for a day. It all depends on what you're trying to get. If you want to make sure and see that you're actually capturing data, one of the things you can do is go to Edit Preferences, and we can actually decrypt this data by inputting the password that we cracked into it. Another thing you could do is while you are trying to crack the password at the beginning with Cain, you can already be recording this information to use it later. But we're just trying to do one step at a time here. So you're going to scroll down and look for the 802 preference. And we're going to type in the enable encryption and type in the key that we cracked. Control V. Click OK. And it's immediately going to start decrypting the data that we just started recording. Again, this is on my own private network. I'm not breaking any laws here. And I sped it up, and there's a bunch of information that we got. So we're going to close that out. Now what we want to do is use AirDecap to actually decode it permanently and change the PCAP, or excuse me, the data packet file permanently decrypted. So get to our air crack program. We use AirDecap/ng/w with the hex code here, followed by the file name. Again, this is doing the same thing that Wireshark's doing, but it's permanently decoding the data. We definitely want to keep this data on our hidden volume because now anyone that got a hold of it would be able to analyze the data and say, hey, this isn't your network. So the next program we're going to be using is NetWitness Investigator 8.6. Now NetWitness is a major company that works in internet monitoring and intelligence solutions, and this program used to cost quite a bit of money, but they released it as a freeware to compete against Wireshark and such, and I think this is really the pinnacle to this presentation. What we're going to do is we're going to start a new data collection, but we already have the data. So new local collection. Let's call it home test again. And now we're going to import the packets that we collected with Wireshark. Now this program can collect packets, but it cannot do anything with the AirDecap card. So if you wanted to collect Ethernet packets through the Ethernet, you could definitely do that. We're going to find the file here, and again it should be in your volume, but for speed's sake we put it with the AirCrack. And again, when we do the AirDecap, I specifically instructed you not to select the deselect the 802 frames. NetWitness Investigator can't handle those frames, and if you do import it with the frames, it'll come up as nothing. So once that's said and done, we're going to double click on it, and here's the wealth of information that we get from the data packets that we captured. NetWitness systematically organizes all that data and allows us to view it and recreate it and drill it down and find what we're looking for. So you can see we've got HTTP, we've got Yahoo IM, you'll see POP3, all the other instant message, whatever we captured. And I took a quick snapshot of my own computer surfing the internet, so there's not too much here, but we'll play around with it. So if you click any hyperlink, that's going to narrow you down to give you more information. So again, you can see there was 15 Yahoo IM conversations. Here's the IP addresses between the two. There's some of the user names that we're communicating. But if you click down on the number, it's actually going to drill you down to the specific chat that we found. So here's a number of chats. We're going to recreate it. Again, by clicking View, NetWitness attempts to recreate it. Sometimes it is off, and you can just tell it, oh, this isn't a website, this is an instant message, and it will format everything, and there you go. So you can see my conversation going on. And just like a website, you can go back and start looking for other bits of information. Let's close this out. There's all the websites the user was visiting. It looks like they're going to howtostock.com. Now, if you are picking up multiple computer users surfing on a particular router that you're tapped into, you can also sort that by the user, by the computer, by the MAC address, by the IP address, and narrow it down. So you're not just going to see a wealth of websites and not know who it belongs to. Again, NetWitness is going to try and recreate those websites as best as possible. You may have to give it a little hint. It still thinks that we're looking at IM here, so click View Web Page. And there it is. Again, we can click back and start over and look for more information. Like Cain Enable, this will also discover passwords, usernames, email addresses, anything that goes across. Files, there's an attachment, a video. A wealth of information, and a lot of it that goes even over my head. You see what they were doing searches for, what they're looking for. It looks like some things were missing, but had passwords on our capture come up, subjects from emails, even social security numbers across the network. NetWitness would have captured it and put it up here in this easy to read setup. So that's it for my presentation here. The next few clips are just the titles of the software used and the location to get them. Again, everything is either shareware or open source. So I hope you enjoy.